Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the Ordinary Boy Boxing channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be discussing the ongoing situation that's kind of been happening around the last 12 months between Eddie Hearn and his fighter, or who was his fighter, Lawrence Okolie. So just a bit of background before I properly get into it. Lawrence Okolie is currently 18-0. He's the WBO Cruiserweight Champion of the world. He's next due to fight David Light, where he will defend his WBO Cruiserweight Championship, and that's on March the 23rd, and currently scheduled to be on Sky Sports with the promotional outfit Boxer. He hasn't fought since February of 2022, and that was against Michael Sislak. He has been with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom since his debut in 2017. During his time with Eddie Hearn, he won British, Commonwealth, European and World Championships. So, what's been going on? Well, for those that don't know or haven't heard, Lawrence Okolie is currently in an ongoing legal dispute with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Lawrence Okolie believes he has done all the fights on his contract. That being said, he went to Matchroom, this is his own words, he went to Matchroom, he said that he'd been approached by Boxer and Sky Sports, who wanted to make him the face of Sky Sports Boxing. Obviously Boxer have taken over Sky Sports Boxing from Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. So he said that he was approached by Boxer with a hefty kind of payment of what they wanted to give him to fight exclusively on Sky Sports. He said at the time that he would rather stay with Matchroom, so he went to them and said, listen, I'm out of contract, this is what I'm being offered, I don't even want you to better it, I just want you to match it. He was told not only no, you're not worth that amount, but you also have one fight left with us, so you cannot have your next fight on Boxer. Lawrence Okolie believed that was wrong, and in fairness he has had the amount of fights that he was supposed to have on his contract. However, the dispute comes between the both with the fact that Lawrence Okolie was supposed to fight Glowacki, I think it's pronounced, on the AJ Pulev undercard. Instead, he took an interim fight against someone called, I'm going to butcher this name, Jizewski. He fought him instead. And at the time Eddie Hearn said that it was agreed that he could fight him instead, but it would not count as part of his contract. In Okolie's eyes, that was part of the contract, so he's out of contract, so he can go and fight wherever he wants. In Eddie Hearn's eyes, and according to an agreement that was made, that Jizewski fight was not part of the contract. So this is where the dispute comes. Now, if that is the truth from both people, from both men, then Okolie is wrong. If it was agreed that he would fight Glowacki and he didn't, and it was agreed with Eddie Hearn, and I'd imagine this will be in writing if Eddie Hearn's going to dispute this, and it was agreed that this was not part of the contract and he still had another fight left, then he doesn't really have a leg to stand on. He does owe Matchroom another fight. However, I would be interested to see what's in writing and what isn't. It became clear last year that something was amiss. Firstly, obviously, he hadn't fought since, I think, February of last year. He also took to Twitter. He never mentioned Eddie Hearn personally, but it was pretty obvious who he was on about. The Twitter, I won't read the whole Twitter status, but it says, can't lie, this year was turning me off boxing, dirty, lying, narcissistic individuals who run the sport, and so on. I'll put the tweet up on the screen, obviously in reference to Eddie Hearn. There's been a lot of ill feeling between the both of them. And Okolie was told that if he didn't want to fulfil his contract and wanted to go and fight with Boxer and receive that payment, then he needs to pay Matchroom and Sky Sports £500,000 for leaving early. So, I mean, it's a bit of a weird one for Eddie Hearn, because obviously he left Sky Sports. He's now obviously with DAZN. Trying to build up, well, he took a lot of boxers with him, but trying to build up this new stable for DAZN. And I feel like he was losing faith in Lawrence Okolie. and I can see why. So I'm not saying Lawrence Okolie is a bad fighter at all. Obviously he's not. He's world champion. He's only 18-0. But I don't think he ever, and I think Eddie Hearn said this, I don't think he ever brought in the money that Eddie Hearn thought he would. Obviously Eddie Hearn has had success with cruiserweights, Tony Bellew for example, and obviously even before Eddie Hearn was about, David Haye was a very, very financial, because he went up to heavyweight as well, really brought in the money as a cruiserweight and then a heavyweight. Lawrence Okolie never did this. He never really set the imagination alight and brought in the revenue that I think Eddie Hearn thought he would. So obviously when Okolie went to Eddie Hearn asking for this amount, I can see why that was refused. Now from Boxer's point of view, obviously Boxer are now in charge of Sky Sports Boxing. Matchroom were in charge for years, now Boxer took it over, so they want to make their own mark on things and they want a big name. They've already got a few. They've already obviously got Chris Eubank Jr. for example, but they want a world champion, and I think they've got a Lawrence Okolie. So that would be why such a hefty payment offer has been made to Lawrence Okolie. Eddie Hearn's not happy because he felt that Lawrence Okolie was approached while he's still under contract with Matchroom, which obviously is not good. I would imagine though, from Boxer and Sky Sports' point of view, as far as they were concerned, he wasn't. They would not see all the paperwork, if there is any, that this fight with Jaszewski was out of contract. They would know, obviously, as we all do, how many fights Okolie's had with Eddie Hearn and how many was on his contract. They would have parried them up and said, well, he is out of contract, so we're going to offer him a new one. I don't really know what's going to happen now. The last thing I heard was that so the fight's been made on March 23rd against David Light for Lawrence Okolie. Okolie's lawyers have basically asked for Matchroom to not be involved in any of the correspondence that's been happening to do with this fight and any future fights. Matchroom, I think, have kind of disputed this and said, no, we still have an interest in his career legally, so we need to know what's going on. Now he's adamant, Boxer are adamant, Sky Sports are adamant that he will be fighting on March 23rd on Sky Sports with Boxer. Now that's not a lot of time between now and March 23rd to get this legal dispute sorted. So if this fight does go ahead, I would be interested to see what Eddie Hearn's next move is and will be. Eddie Hearn is... He's had a very up and down year last year, putting it kindly. Obviously the stuff with Conor Benn. I feel like DAZN, he is not producing for DAZN how he thought he would and how they wanted him to. So the pressure really is on him at the moment, probably especially financially as well. Don't get me wrong, Eddie Hearn is a multi-millionaire and Matchroom are a multi-million-pound company, but it was a big contract he had with DAZN and a lot of money was involved. And if he is, last year was not a year where he produced what DAZN are paying him to produce. So the pressure really is on him. And you're talking about, you know, the amount of money, you're talking, you know, $500,000 from Lawrence Okolie that they want. Boxer, Sky Sports are now a main competitor to Eddie Hearn, so I think he will fight this tooth and nail. To me, it's all going to come on. I'm no lawyer or anything like that, but it is going to come down to if there's something in writing. Now, do let me know in the comments below if you know that there is or there isn't. I've not seen anything, but obviously, if there is an agreement between Okolie and Eddie Hearn on, you know, coming up to the undercard fight for Joshua. If there is something written down that's saying he can fight Jaszewski, but it won't be part of his contract, and that's signed by Okolie and Eddie Hearn, then Okolie's in trouble. If such a document doesn't exist, then really it is word for word, word against word, and I don't really see how Eddie Hearn can follow it through successfully without burning loads of money going through a legal route. I also, I'm surprised that Boxer have pursued Lawrence Okolie how they have. Now don't get me wrong, like I said, Lawrence Okolie is a good fighter. He's 18-0 and he's a world champion. Very impressive. But Eddie Hearn's right when he says he's you know, he's money wise, he's not produced, and I don't see how he's going to. I don't know what, for what he's being offered from Boxer, I don't know how they're going to reap that money back. I really don't. Obviously Boxer feel that the reason Lawrence Okolie has not brought in the money like Eddie Hearn thought he would is because of Eddie Hearn's promoting. He hasn't done the right things and made the right moves with Okolie that they believe they can do that. And I'm not an Eddie Hearn fan, but he has brought him, like I said, to British, Commonwealth, European and world titles in just 18-0. Doesn't sound like a bad job he's done with him. At some point you do have to kind of look at the fighter and go, you know, are they marketable? And that's what it comes down to. I mean, you could, with the best will in the world, you can be the best boxer, you can have all the skill in the world, but if you're not marketable, then you're not worth the money. But Boxer believe he is. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens this year with this. It's going to have to be resolved in the next 3 months, because that's when he's fighting David Light. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how that works out. Do let me know in the comments below what your whole thoughts on the Okolie Eddie Hearn situation is, and I'm not a wealth of knowledge on it, so do let me know if I've missed anything out. I'm sure I have. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. The channel's still growing nicely. We're into a new year, so the plan for the end of this year is to hit that 1,000 subscribers, and I can only do it with you guys' help. We've got a good month in January. Obviously the next big fight coming up will be Chris Eubank Jr. so against Smith, so really looking forward to doing a bit more content on that as we get a bit nearer the fight. If you enjoyed this video, press the like button, don't forget to comment and let me know what you thought, and obviously, as I said before, if you haven't already, then please do subscribe. Well, from me, that's about it, and I shall see you in the next video.